book is Clifford the Small Red Puppy. Hi, I'm Emily Elizabeth, and this is Clifford, my big red dog. Yesterday, my friend Martha said, I got my dog from a fancy pet store. Where did you get yours? So I told her how I got Clifford. When I was little, I lived in the city. I didn't have a dog. One day, a man down the hall called us. His dog had puppies. He wanted to give me one. One puppy was smaller than the rest. The man said, Don't take him. He's the runt. He will always be small and sick. But I loved that little puppy. He needed me. I named my puppy Clifford. He was so tiny that I had to feed him with the doll's baby bottle. We got the smallest collar we could find for Clifford. It was too big. When he began to eat dog food, we had to watch him all the time. He was so little that he was always getting lost, even in our small apartment. Daddy said that Clifford was just too small. He didn't think he could live through the winter. I was very sad. That night I told Clifford I wished he would grow to be a big, healthy dog. I told him I loved him. Next morning, he looked bigger to me. He seemed to have an easier time eating his dog food, and his collar wasn't so loose. In fact, by the time Daddy got home, the collar was too small. By bedtime, Clifford's tiny basket seemed a little too small for him. So I let him sleep on my pillow again. That was a mistake. Next morning, Mommy thought Clifford looked different. Daddy said, I think he's growing. I decided to take Clifford for a walk. At the corner, I saw a big dog coming. I knew I should pick Clifford up, so the big dog couldn't hurt him. I shouldn't have worried. Clifford really was growing. We ran home to show Mommy how big he was. Had our apartment door grown smaller? Daddy couldn't believe it. We put Clifford in the garden to sleep that night. In the morning, the lady upstairs called us. It was about Clifford. In fact, all the neighbors were starting to notice him. The landlord called the police. They came to see Clifford. They said Clifford would have to go. But how? He couldn't go through the door. There was just one way to get him out of our garden. We sent him to live with my uncle who lived in the country. They have to put Clifford in a moving van because he's too big. I was sad. I missed my little puppy, and he missed me. One day, we got a surprise. My uncle wanted Daddy to come to work with him in the country. We moved right away. Clifford was waiting for me. I said, Clifford, stop growing. You're just right. So, I said to Martha, that's how I got my dog. Tell me again how you got your dog. Martha said, forget it. The end. What is your favorite part of the story? My favorite part of the story is when Clifford is so small that he fell into his food bowl. This book is Clifford's Good Deeds by Norman Bridwell. Hello, I'm Emily Elizabeth. This is my dog Clifford. A boy named Tim lives across the street. One day, Tim said, I try to do a good deed every day. If I had Clifford, I could help a lot of people. I said, let's do some good deeds together. A man was raking leaves. Tim gave him a hand. Then he helped him put leaves on his truck. I didn't know that dry leaves made Clifford sneeze. Achoo! The man said he didn't need any more help. We went down the street. We saw a lady painting her fence. We helped her paint. When we finished, she thanked us. We said we would paint the rest of her house. Clifford felt so happy that he wagged his tail. That was a mistake. White paint splattered all over her house. We said we would paint the rest of her house too. The lady said, never mind. Then we saw an old lady trying to get her kitten down from a tree. Tim said, Clifford, get the kitty. Clifford bent the limb down so the lady could reach her kitten. But his paw slipped. Clifford moves pretty fast for a big dog. The lady was glad to get her kitten back. It didn't take us long to find our next good deed to do. Somebody had let air out of the tires of a car. The man asked if we could help him. Tim took a rubber tube out of the car and stuck it on the tire valve. Then he told Clifford to blow air through the tube. Clifford blew, but he blew a little too hard. The man felt better when we took his car to a garage. We saw a small paper boy. He was so small he couldn't throw the newspapers to the doorstep. Clifford gave him a hand. I mean a paw. Clifford was a little too strong. Clink, clink. Look, Clifford broke the glass on one side of the house, came through the other side, but it didn't hit the man. Nothing seemed to go right for us. All our good deeds were turning out wrong. Then we saw a terrible thing. A man was hurt and lying in the street. Nobody was helping him. Tim said, you should never move an injured person. Clifford didn't hear him. He picked up the man. We started off to find a doctor. Oh dear. Help the man get their cable back on the manhole, Tim said. Clifford, maybe you shouldn't help me anymore. Clifford felt very sad. He had tried so hard to do the right things. We headed for home. Suddenly, we heard someone shouting, help! Fire! The house on the corner was on fire. Tim ran to the alarm box to call the fire department. Clifford ran to the burning house. There were two little kids upstairs. With Clifford's help, we got them out safely. Luckily, there was a swimming pool in the yard. Clifford put out the fire just as the firemen were arriving. The firemen finished the job and thanked us for our help. That afternoon, the mayor gave us each a medal for our good deeds. City Hall. Look, that's the mayor, that's Emily, and that's Tim, and I can't even see Clifford's head. Of course, Clifford got the biggest medal of all, and it says on his medal, hero, and he looks like a hero too. The end. What is your favorite part of the story? My favorite part of the story is where Clifford blowed water all over the house and he saved the two children's home. Cliffords Manners. I'm Emily Elizabeth, and this is Clifford. Everyone loves Clifford because he has good manners I taught him myself. Say please. Clifford says please when he asks for something. Say thank you. Clifford, He says thank you when he gets something. Send thank you notes. And he writes a thank you note when someone gives him a present. Wait your turn. Clifford loves to go to the movies. He waits his turn in the line. Don't litter. Clifford has a snack. He puts the empty bag into the litter basket. Clifford hates litter bugs. Say excuse me. Clifford says excuse me when he needs to pass in front of people. Do not talk during a show. He never talks during the show. Talking disturbs others. Use your handkerchief. When Clifford has to sneeze, he uses a handkerchief or tissue. It's a good thing he does. Share. Clifford has so many friends that he shares his toys with them. Put your toys away. Clifford puts his toys away when he's through. His friends help. They have good manners too. Follow the rules. Clifford is a terrific tennis player. He obeys all the rules of the game. Talk, don't hit. Sometimes players disagree. When Clifford is angry, he does not hit. He just says what he feels. Be a good sport. Clifford is a good sport. He smiles when he loses, and he doesn't boast when he wins. Call ahead. Clifford loves to go visiting. When he visits his sister in the country, he always calls ahead. Don't be late. Clifford always arrives on time. Knock before you walk in. He knocks the door before he enters. Wipe your feet. He wipes his feet first. Shake hands. Clifford kisses his sister. He shakes hands with her friend. Wash up before you eat. Clifford's sister has dinner ready. Clifford washes his hands before he eats. Don't talk with your mouth full. Clifford chews his food with his mouth closed. He never talks with his mouth full. Help clean up. Clifford helps with the cleanup. Say goodbye. Thank you for dinner and goodbye. Then he says thank you and goodbye to his sister and to his friend. Have good manners. Everyone loves Clifford's Manners. That's why everyone loves Clifford. The end. What is your favorite part of the story? My favorite part of the story is when Clifford plays tennis with Emily Elizabeth. Thank you for reading with me.